skill and teamwork. And in fact, I think we've got an incoming transmission from Dr. Kinley himself.
Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me? Nasty, what's wrong with this thing? Hello? Hello? Ah, there you are. Dr. Kinley here, calling from the North Pole in pursuit of an elusive ice ghost. My spectral security systems back at my manor have detected some unusual activity. I've gathered a vast collection of apparitions for an exhibition, but it seems the ghost containment systems might be failing. I believe you, enthusiasts of theme park adventures, could be in the vicinity. I urgently need your eyes and wits. If you're near my manor, watch for any unusual ghostly goings-on. Stay alert and check ghostlymanor.co.uk for updates. It's here.
We are very excited about this, very excited.
My passion for ghost hunting was ignited as a child when the enigmatic spectre Ohjee tapped at my window. Thereafter, I became obsessed with phantoms and the artifacts and relics that bridge our worlds. My quest, both thrilling and perilous, has driven me to the edges of the earth. Now, finally, I've transformed my manor into an exhibition of the supernatural. And I have become Dr. Kinley, Ghost Hunter Extraordinaire.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Ghostly Manor, our new ride for 2025. I'm Lawrence, and I'm going to have a little walk around with you and show you what we've been up to. So this is the entrance area and entrance portal, and we're going to block pave this whole area. These are the 90 themed walls for Dr. Kinley's manor. As you can see, a lot of the rendering has been completed, and we're just waiting to finish these and paint them. Up here we've got the entrance sign. This is going to have the Ghostly Manor logo on. These are going to be a lit up sign as well, and we've got space for the queue time board there too. And again, same over on this side. It's going to really be a lovely space to enter Dr. Kinley's manor and find out what's inside. This is the first time we've ever really brought a ride into the garden area, so we're quite excited about this. So we're going to obviously make sure it's nicely themed and planted up to ensure it's sympathetic to the garden area. Now into the queue line. As you can see, the posts have already gone in, and we've been marking out where each of the garden elements are going to be. Our landscape team are working hard designing this at the moment, and we're hoping to have this area at least finished for when we open in February 2025, so you'll be able to have a sneak peek of the garden area before going into the ride. So as we walk around the queue line, there's going to be lots of exciting props in here. There's lots of ghostly goings on in the queue line for people to look at as they're waiting to go into the ride. As you can see, some nice themed elements, concrete pads gone down for those. You'll be planted a hedge along here. It's quite young at the moment, but this will all grow up and you'll feel really immersed in Dr. Kinley's manor. All these trees are all original. We've kept these because you can't buy that theming. It's already there, and obviously all part of our heritage, so we've made sure we've moved the queue line to move around these trees and obviously keep the themed elements in there as well. As you approach Dr. Kinley's manor, you'll walk through the pergola, and it will have some beautiful plants over the top, perhaps wisteria, perhaps roses. Our landscaping team are still working on that. So unfortunately, the whole facade is still being themed, and as you can see, covered by scaffolding. You can see the scaffolding has a roof on as well to ensure that we can continue working on this in all weathers. Very important that we, of course, get this ride open on time. So of course this will be what everyone sees and what draws them into the ride. So we're making sure that this matches the design perfectly. And some of you may have already seen the design on some of the fencing outside the construction site. So we'll make sure that it matches as close as possible. On this side you can see some of the props that we've been making that are ready to go on the facade. and they're all going to be painted up as well. And at the top, you probably won't be able to see, but we've already started doing some work at the top of this side of the facade. Yeah, everything is just waiting to be painted, so not much colour here at the moment, but that will all come soon, we hope. The doors have been added, still yet to be themed, and we've got some cutouts here for the themed windows that will be going into the manor as well. So this is the first queue line area. We won't show you too much of what's going on inside because obviously we want it to be a surprise, but again, be beautifully themed, and we're really excited to show you what Ghostly Manor is going to look like. So this will be the first pre-show area, and you'll queue around the outside. There'll be something quite exciting or interesting for people to look at. So quite noisy in here, but as you can see, we're now inside the ride area. Very exciting, as in a couple of weeks the actual ride system will be installed in here too. So lots of work going on, building the tools, creating the internal and the external scenes for projection and the physical sets as well. So above us you can see the gantry. This has been purpose built for this ride, and it's where a lot of projection and the theming. And then underneath you've got big motors in the here which turn the turntable around as people are on the ride. And of course this is where people will be inside the ride catching all the ghosts that have escaped from Dr. Kinley's manor. This is a large 10-metre wall, one of three that have been purpose built. This will be painted with projection paint, and that's what part of the ride will be projected on. So it's going to be a real immersive experience when you're inside it. So thanks for watching this short tour of the Ghostly Manor construction site. We're very excited about this ride, and join us next time when we're going to have a look at the ride being installed in Ghostly Manor. Welcome to another Ghostly Manor construction update. A few things to show you on this one. We've been nice and busy, especially inside the ride area where we're going to have a quick look at the ride actually being installed into Ghostly Manor. So at the front here, this is new, we've created this concrete pad, and just behind me here you can see a fountain, and this has been made in-house by us, and it's been ready to be lifted in now. We've got some power to it here in the middle, and this will have some gargoyle heads on, spitting water out, and again we'll create a nice entrance plaza to Ghostly Manor. We're nearly ready to install the sign. It's looking really, really good. We're really happy with it. It should be arriving in the next few weeks, and then we'll have a lovely entrance portal to show you on the next video. Not much has changed out here in the queue line. The good news is that our theming artists are now back on site. They've got all the paint they need, so very soon we're going to start painting all of the facade. You can see some fresh concrete's been added to that post over there, so really moving on out here, and hopefully in a week or two we'll be able to show you some finished theming. Inside the queue line there's been a few changes. We've varnished the wooden panelling all along the bottom, and in the next few weeks we'll be adding the wallpaper into the queue line, and that's going to really transform this area. We're now inside the ride area. This is Nick, one of our engineers at the park. Nick is actually part of the team that's installing the ride, and he's going to have a little walk around with us and explain what's going on in here. So Nick, what are we looking at in here?
So currently we're at the first stages of the build. The first thing we had to do was install what we call the pickup rail. On here has got everything from mains power on this side of the rail. Up here you've got your data connections, and then you've got some extra lives and neutrals for the livetronic side of things, for all the effects that are going to be on the gondolas. So, and
this is where the gondola talks back to the ride control system, and that's what controls the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything, all the cables will be running around. There's a couple of ducts over there that we're going to go into, and then all up into the control room upstairs.
And just behind us here we've got one of the platforms that the gondola sits on.
Yes, I believe we're waiting for another section here.
Yep.
But yes, the 5 gondolas that we're going to have are going to be made up of this effectively like a jigsaw puzzle style platform. This will be where, so this pickup rail will be in here and be picking up off of here. Your gondola will be here, and then like I say, all the interactive side of the ride will be fed up through all of this. So yeah, it's very exciting. And
how does it move around? I spot a motor
so we've got 6 motors in these pits here, and it'll be a very slow drive around, being driven by those. Exciting.
It is.
We're bringing the 2 main power cables to each of these boxes, and as I say, then all the data cables will then be linked up through. So we've got effectively 5 different sections of power here, so we'll be able to turn off each of these individually. You then got the communication rail which goes all the way around, and then a few other bits in there as well. It's good to see how it all comes together, how it all works. So
like a big Lego set.
It is, effectively, it is a giant giant Lego set, which is great fun. It's just one large ring, really.
So all the cables run back around the ring to these ducts, and then where do these go?
So these ducts will then go behind this wall here, and then they come up through a tray system, which then disappears up into the main control room up there.
We're going to head up to the control room now and take a look at what Nick was explaining and where all the cables go back to. As Nick was explaining, these are all the cables that come up through the ducts and up the cable trays and through here. They go into the cabinet, and this is where the ride is controlled. This is where all the software is kept and where the ride control system looks after the rides, monitors all the sensors, keeps everyone safe and enjoying Ghostly Manor. And from up here you get a fantastic view. So you can see the gantry there where all the projectors and theming will be installed, and of course around the outside you've got your large 10-metre wide screens as well that will be projected onto. In here we've created a small staging area, and this is where a lot of the ride parts are being kept waiting for install. Various things, trunking and bits of platform, and behind me here we've actually got the ride operator's kiosk operator panel as well. Thanks for joining me on this tour of Ghostly Manor. Really exciting to see the ride being installed. Join me next time where we're going to have a look at the actual ride vehicles being installed, and we're going to give you a look at those inside Ghostly Manor. Welcome back to our third Ghostly Manor construction update video. Keep watching, because in this video we're going to have a look at the actual ride vehicles which are now being installed into Ghostly Manor, along with lots of other exciting updates. There's been so much going on here, so lots to update you on. Let's start with the entrance area to Ghostly Manor. You can see that the team have widened the path here. There's a couple of reasons for that. One of them being that being a theme park, guest flow is really important. So this is actually one of the most traffic routes along the park as you move from Tornado Springs and Peppa Pig World over to Lost Kingdom on the other side of the park. So we wanted to make sure, especially as we're adding a new ride entrance to this pathway, that guest flow wasn't impacted. And the second reason was that this is a really exciting ride for us, and we wanted to make sure that it had the entrance area that it deserved. So this area will also be block paved, but at the moment we've just got some stone down, and that will be done in the next few weeks. Moving on to the walls outside Ghostly Manor. Now these are pretty much finished, and we're really happy with how they've turned out. They look just like the designs, and the whole idea was to create a lovely entrance and a real stately home vibe, but also a little bit run down. As you can see, we've added these sort of like these breaking points in the wall here where you can see underneath, and we think it's going to look fantastic when the whole area is block paved and we've got the sign up. It's going to create a fantastic entrance to Ghostly Manor. So yeah, really happy with these. The pillars are also pretty much done. Again, looking just really happy. We've taken the sign down just to allow the theming artist to really get in there and finish the theming, but once that's back up, it's going to look fantastic. And the sign itself, we've had that up, had that powered on with the green glow it gives off. Yeah, that's such a good entrance. So as you move through the queue line, you'll notice a very large change here, and the scaffolding is down. And this happened earlier this week, and you can now see the finished product, and yeah, the theming on this side is pretty much complete. A few things to finish off, some double doors going in here and some windows to go in over this side, but yeah, we're so pleased with how this turned out. Each crack and each blemish has been put on individually by hand. It's very impressive, and our theming artist has done a fantastic job of this. So yeah, really happy, and it really brings the area in. The story behind this is that it's sort of like a staff quarters for the manor. And so this is where the staff work, who work inside, the servants, the cleaners, you know. So there's always a story behind everything we do within this small but very immersive area. Even this sort of bit that really doesn't need to be part of the area, we've brought that in and given it a backstory. Work has started on the main facade behind us with some concrete work and some sculpting going on, so we should be able to show you more of that in the next video. You may be wondering how we actually go about creating these themed areas. Now, a lot of work goes on before we ever put a spade in the ground, and a lot of it is centred around one of these booklets. Now, in here, this is the booklet that we get from our designers, and in here, what you'll find is detailed drawings, measurements, colourways, materials, everything we need to actually bring these areas to life. So, if I open one of the pages, you'll see that we've got the gates that have been created outside, and also inside here is lots of detail on the actual internal scenes for the ride area. So I'm not going to show you those because you'll of course have to visit the park to experience them. We've now moved inside the manor, and this is a good look at the wallpaper that we've put up. Now, I say it's wallpaper, it's actually this very clever material where it's actually suspended on top of the previous wall. So we haven't had to do any work behind this to finish the wall. It's not like conventional wallpaper where you have to plaster it on, you don't get these joins, and of course we can print whatever we want on them. So we've got these cool distressed looks here and in the corners where we're exposing some of the wooden panelling that's behind the actual wallpaper. And yeah, it creates a really nice environment and you really get a sense of being inside an old stately home, which is exactly what we were going for. Claw marks are cool, aren't they? Back inside the ride area now for Ghostly Manor. So lots going on in here, lots of changes since we were last in here, so bear with me. The platform has gone in. This is the platform that rotates and the ride vehicles sit here on this stainless steel pad. And we've got internal scene and external scene where you are. You can see the space we've created here for the internal scenes. For this one specifically, there'll be a screen in the middle and physical props. Now, they don't all have screens in, some of them are just physical props as well, which is quite cool. And some of the scenes have got ceilings up here where things either come out or drop down or pop out from, which will be quite cool. Not going to say too much on that, as of course it's going to be a surprise. On this side, we've got this emergency access platform. This is for ride evacuations and maintenance, and we'll have a similar on the inside as well. So we built these walls, and one of the key things we were worried about in here was sound bleed. So we've got lots of different scenes in here with different music, different special effects, and we wanted to make sure that when you're in the scene, you're immersed in that scene. The ride vehicles also have speakers in as well. There are lots of scenes in quite close proximity, so from an acoustics point of view, you've got a lot of sounds coming at you, and we wanted to make sure that people are immersed in their scene, not just visually, but from the sounds coming out of the ride as well. These little bits are on hinges as well, so you can get in and out if you need to, and they spin with the platform. Now it's time to have a look at the ride vehicles for Ghostly Manor. Working closely with the manufacturer, we've tried to create a ride vehicle that's easy to maintain and look after, whilst also in capturing the spookiness and adventure that Ghostly Manor is all about. Now, it's not totally finished yet, but this is the start. It gives you a good idea of what it looks like. There's a quite important bit that goes on the front here, which will include things like the screens for people to see their scores, and of course will hold the phantom phasers, which are connected to the ride vehicle. The phantom phasers are what guests will use to capture the ghosts inside Ghostly Manor. Each one has its own distinct colour, and you will see that colour as you're shooting through the ride. Now, the ride vehicle is unique in the UK for a dark ride, in that it can hold 8 people, 4 back to back, and it rotates on its own horizontal axis, and that's the main reason that we can fit so many action-packed scenes on each side for a relatively small building for a dark ride. So there it is, the ride vehicle for Ghostly Manor. We hope you like it. Of course, remember, not finished yet, still quite an important piece to go on the front here, which will really round it off, but let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching this Ghostly Manor update video. We are really enjoying bringing this ride to life and cannot wait to show you all it in person. Join us next time when we're going to have a look at the actual ride commissioning and some of the internal theming that's going on inside Ghostly Manor, and maybe also give you a sneak peek at the main facade outside. Don't forget to subscribe and join us next time.
You'll never forget your first ghost. The planning, the anticipation, the thrill. It's a moment that defines you. It was the moment that changed everything. Ohjee was mine. If only I'd known the chaos he'd unleash.
Welcome back to another Ghostly Manor construction update. Sorry that it's been over a month since the last video, but we have made some amazing progress on Ghostly Manor. The ride system has now been fully commissioned, tested and installed, so looking forward to showing you that. We've started work on the outside here, the block paving for the main entrance area is starting to go down, and yeah, a sneak peek of the house, which is looking fantastic. So the theming artists have been working on that, painting, the sculpting is pretty much completed now on the main facade. So yeah, we're going to head up there and take a little look at that too. We've started work on the fountain at the front of Ghostly Manor. So previously this was just installed with a metal frame, and we've added some sculpting here, little broken pieces in the middle, and yeah, as soon as we started to be filled with water, and we'll start seeing some water come out of the gargoyles' mouths. Let's start out the front. So a few changes here. The most obvious one being that the fencing has gone in for the queue line. A few bits still to be installed, but we've left some open so we can still gain access to the gardens, which you can see. We've had some big props being installed. The large centerpiece over here with the columns and a nice copper tree to my left here. But that's not the end. We've still got lots to do out here. Lots of planting to go in, some more themed items. We've got a well going over there, which is going to be moving, spooky mirrors, stuff going on out here, and when the music's playing, yeah, it's going to be a really cool queue line. This piece over here is going to be a themed up artesian sort of well. It's going to be moving up and down with a bucket. So we've just got the framework being installed here, and then we're going to build around that and create a nice themed well, which would be quite cool. The pergola started taking shape. We've got these concrete columns started to go in, and yeah, this will all be brought up and themed over with lots of foliage over the top, and going to create a really cool entrance to the main building. We're now inside the scaffolding up top and in front of the main Ghostly Manor facade, and you can start to see some of the theming work that's going on here. So the guys have finished all the sculpting, all the brickwork, all this stuff, and it's now being painted and themed up. We've got the themed windows here, and there's more on this side at the front of the manor as well. So over here we've created a sort of go-away colour. This isn't really part of the manor, but the 4D cinema, the old 4D cinema spanned quite a wide section, the building did at least. So we had to sort of hide this, so we created this tree kind of vibe over here, where hopefully your eye is drawn towards the manor. It's quite a large piece of artwork that had to go up here, so all that had to be lifted up and installed as well. Not something you can see from the ground, because obviously the scaffolding's in the way. So yeah, this is just some foliage and some trees, and gives the impression that the manor is set within a dense forest, and yeah, it just adds to that spooky vibe really. So something you might not have seen before, but still quite cool. When we get the scaffolding down, we can show you all exactly what it looks like, and the main facade of Ghostly Manor, what everyone's going to see when they first enter the ride. Yeah, can't wait to see that. We're really, really excited about this. A few days ago, all the internal props arrived for the pre-show areas. So we've got 3 different pre-show areas that guests will walk through as they go on the ride. The second one is the big scene, where you've got a big tube in the middle, where you've got Ohjee being captured and trying to get out, and you've got various other moving props, ghost containment units, and things blowing steam in the air. So yeah, lots to look at. Big progress on the actual ride vehicles. Really excited to say that the front of the ride carriage has arrived and been installed. So these have been installed on all the ride vehicles now. We've got some spaces for the screens at the top here where people can see their scores. We think it really rounds the ride off and creates a fantastic ride vehicle for people to enjoy Ghostly Manor on. in the ride here, these are my friends, you'll see that we've got some blocks of cement. So normally when you're testing a ride you use water dummies. We obviously didn't want to do that in Ghostly Manor because it's a ride with lots and lots of electrical components inside, water dummies. If we had an issue with a water dummy, it wouldn't be good for the ride. So the guys had to lift all these big heavy lumps of concrete in here to create a simulated weight of people on the ride for the ride commissioning process. The sides have been put on and the surround's finished, so this is looking really, really cool. A few things that we're still waiting for. One of them is the phantom phasers, so looking forward to showing you that in the next video. The phantom phasers are of course the guns that people will be using to shoot the ghosts in the ride and capture the ghosts that have escaped. They're looking really, really smart, and there's a lot of technology in there, so looking forward to delving a bit deeper into that in the next video. The ride system's now been fully commissioned by Mac and it's been signed off by our external inspecting engineers, which is great news. One of the big challenges in here has been coordinating all the different teams. So we've got people doing the theming, we've got people that want to work on the gameplay, we've obviously got the ride manufacturer who wants to test the ride. So the guys have done a great job in making sure everyone gets access to the ride when they need to, so that the project doesn't slow down or stop, and we're still, ready for opening in May. Thank you so much for watching this Ghostly Manor construction update. There is a lot more to show you. As I said, we've got the phantom phasers still to arrive. Lagatronic will be on site, who are doing the gameplay element and the game engine, so that will start taking shape. We'll start adding the soundscapes to the ride as well, which will be really cool to hear and to see as well. Out the front, obviously we're still working on the queue line, so a lot of progress still to be done out there. Hopefully the scaffolding will be coming down very, very soon on the main front of the house, so looking forward to showing you that as well. Lots to show you. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and see you next time.
It took 6 years and all of my scientific knowledge to develop the phantom phaser, powered by dark crystals of my own design. The first device on Earth capable of capturing spectres directly to a mobile containment unit. Prepared for the chase, armed for the unknown.
Phantom phasers will be issued to all guests to Ghostly Manor for their own protection, just in case.
Welcome back to another Ghostly Manor construction update. We've got loads to show you in this update. Our phantom phasers have arrived. The scaffolding is down on the main facade, so make sure you stay tuned because we've got lots and lots to show you in this update. And make sure you watch to the end of the video where we're going to give one of you a chance to win a real life phantom phaser. So let's start at the front. Lots to show you right here. The first being that we've put these black posts up. Now these will actually hold the main rule board for the ride, which will show the restrictions and all the details of what goes on inside. However, we've used the space for a bit of marketing messaging to show people when the ride opens as they're walking past, as of course the park is now open, so people are walking past this area. We've also got the main signage up top here, which is looking fantastic. We're working on getting power to this area. The gates are in as well, and it's creating a fantastic entrance into Ghostly Manor. You'll see the block paving is complete around me, and we're just prepping this area for tarmacking, which is going to happen in the next few weeks. So yeah, loads going on at the front. We've also added these lights up onto the pillars. Now we weren't actually quite happy with these ones, so we're going to change these to a few more ornate versions. So these aren't final yet, but really just placeholders for the real thing. But don't worry, we'll still reuse these somewhere else around the park. As as we move through into the garden area, you'll notice that a lot of the plants are down here in pots. So we put our plants in pots initially down where they're going to sit, so we can see how the garden area is going to look, and then we can start planting them properly. So our gardens and our landscaping team are working on that, really bringing this area to life, and it's starting to really feel like a proper ornate manor area. And that's what we're going for with this, a proper formal garden area, but not too perfect, a bit run down, because you want to give it that sort of ghostly vibe as well. We've started some work on the base of this this main prop in the middle of the garden, so adding some detail to the concrete at the bottom to yeah, just give some texture to that area too. Now I have a small confession to make about the well. In the last video I said it was going to move up and down. I've been reliably informed by our projects team that it does not move up and down. However, hopefully you'll still agree that it looks fantastic, and now with all this detailing on the front it's going to look brilliant. But yeah, they told me the cost of making it move up and down, and I said no, it's not worth it, I'm afraid. There is power in there though. I don't see what the big problem is. Now, a massive change, which you can see behind me, is that the scaffolding has come down on the main facade, and I think you'll agree that it looks amazing. We're so happy with it. Still some finishing off to do around the bottom, but you can see the go-away green that I was talking about on the left. I think that's worked really well, and the little details that have been added, the windows and the curtains, and when all the lighting's on up there, yeah, it's going to look brilliant. So on this secondary facade up here, this side is unthemed, but we decided that it was standing out a bit too much with this sort of grey colour, so we've given it a good clean, and you can see we've been testing up some paint colours over there, and eventually this whole thing will be that brown colour, which will hopefully make it blend into the theming a bit more, because we felt as you were walking through the gardens it stood out a bit and jarred a bit against the highly themed facades. So yeah, a bit of a change there, but not quite done yet, but just testing the paint at the moment. Final update out the front is that we've actually had the real music for Ghostly Manor playing out here, so there's some speakers at the top which have been themed in, and it sounded brilliant. Yeah, really excited to share that with you too. So now let's head inside and see what updates we've got in there. Now we're inside the main pre-show area, and the main update in here is that the queue line fencing is being installed, and also the fencing in front of this main show set here, which we're not going to show you too much of because it's a more of a surprise. But yeah, this is going to help define the flow of guests through the attraction and just create a little bit more space for the queue line as well. Within here as well, we're also creating a lot of media for the screens and stuff that goes on in here. So there's going to be a full pre-show with a story from Dr. Kinley, and also in the next room we've got some cool stuff to show you for pre-show 3 as well. Our engineering team have had some fun with this little area, and they've installed this pretty cool hidden camera where guests can actually see themselves as they're walking around the queue line. Pretty spooky, right? And we've also got this big screen up here, and that's got a nice surround around it, and that will show some safety instructions and instructions for guests on how to use the phantom phasers and how to board the ride when they're ready to go on. We're now back inside the main ride area for Ghostly Manor. There's been loads of work going on in here. Not all of it that visible, because a lot of it's been the work that Lagatronics are doing, programming the ride, setting up the lighting, the projectors, everything that makes Ghostly Manor, you know, a real life breathing attraction, which we're really excited about. So yeah, they've been working really hard in here, ready for the ride to open in May. One of the changes that you can see inside Ghostly Manor is the addition of these big thick black curtains up here. Now we put these in because it really helps immerse guests in the ride, and it stops any light or sound bleed coming from the two individual scenes, because don't forget, on this side people will be playing one scene, and on this side people will be playing another completely different scene, so we need to make sure that the lights and the sounds don't traverse between the scenes to make sure that guests are completely immersed in what they're doing at that time within the ride. Another thing that you can see is the addition of these small screens within the ride vehicles. Now this is where the guests will be able to see their scores when they're on the ride and how well they're doing capturing all the ghosts that have escaped within Ghostly Manor. Another Another massive change is the painting of these walls. Now these walls have been painted with special projection paint because this is where the main scenes are going to be. So there are 3 main big projection scenes within the ride and then 5 internal scenes. So yeah, these have been put on with a special kind of paint that really brings a wall to life and allows you to project on it. There's a special kind of paint that we use that has certain elements to it. I don't exactly know what exactly the elements are, but it means that you can project onto it, which is pretty cool. We've seen it with some proper content on, and the projectors are fantastic. They look so good. So yeah, really excited. When we get the full scene on there, it's going to be so immersive because guests are only sat right here in this carriage, so you're really close to it. It's going to be really one of those rides that you're going to have to ride multiple times to really take everything in. Yeah, looking really, really cool. So each external scene is powered by 2 short throw projectors. Now these projectors up here are super expensive, super high quality, and they're really, really cool. So they use a fisheye lens to project one side of the screen and the other one projects the other side of the screen. So you can kind of see that here, and that's what's happening on here. The team from Lagatronics are starting to blend the images together to create one scene. So yeah, really, really cool. Love the technology behind this ride. Now, here's something really exciting. We've taken delivery of the first set of Phantom phasers. Now, these are the blasters that people are going to use inside the ride to shoot the ghosts. They're really cool. We're really happy with them. I think you'll agree they look fantastic. They're a great size, great for adults, great for kids as well, which is really important. Good trigger movement on it. This is just a dummy, so it doesn't have the light, which will appear here, and also there'll be a sound that comes out of the back when you pull the trigger. So a really great sense of immersion, and you get a great feedback when you're using the device. There's currently loads more Phantom phasers being manufactured by Lagatronics in the Netherlands because of course we need 8 per ride vehicle, 4 on each side. So they're being put together at the moment. Each part is injection molded in durable plastics. Of course, this is going to be taking lots of wear and tear as people use them throughout the day. So they need to be quite durable, need to be easily replaceable as well, so things come apart and we can replace the components inside as well. But yeah, they're currently being made within the Netherlands at the moment. Of course, the real blasters will be tethered to the ride vehicle with a cord so that they can't actually leave the ride vehicle because we don't want them going walkabout. And of course, there's loads of technology inside the blasters, the different sensors that allow the blaster to communicate with the ride, and the light and the sound and everything that has to work together to give that really immersive experience when you're using the Phantom phaser. So up here in what was the old projection room for the 4D cinema, we've installed the cabinet for Lagatronics. Now this is the brains behind the ride. This is what controls everything that goes on within the actual game engine. So the communication of the blasters, all the projectors, all the timings for the scenes, all the different animatronics that are in the ride that have to be triggered based on different points. So it's all happening in this server rack here. So there's loads of stuff in here. I won't confess to know what all of it does, but I'm told that it works really well. The last time we were up here, you probably saw a big mess of cables that were coming up from these cable trays up here. Now, as you can see, they've all been beautifully cable managed, and it pleases me greatly to see this, and it looks fantastic. So this side is going to the Mac Rides cabinet, which is what controls the ride system, and this side is going to the Lagatronics cabinet, which is what controls, as I said, the game system. So you can see the amount of cabling here leads to the complexity in the ride, and there's so much going on, but it's going to create a fantastic experience, and we can't wait for you to experience it. That massive cable is the main supply from Critter Creek, so it's quite cool. And from this amazing vantage point, you get a really good look at Ghostly Manor, so you can see that actually it takes up a really small footprint within the building, but there's so many scenes and there's so much packed into this ride. It's going to create a fantastic experience, and we cannot wait to show everyone. I like this one cable here because it's like goes from Mac to Lagatronics, and that's the one thing that controls their communication, but quite important cable. And now on to our special competition where you could win a real life Phantom phaser. Now all you have to do is hit that subscribe button and comment below what you love most about Ghostly Manor so far, and one of you could win this very Phantom phaser. Thank you for watching this update video on the construction of Ghostly Manor. As you can see, it's really coming along and we're reaching the end of the project now, but there's still quite a lot to do. Obviously the gardening team will be out here doing the landscaping and planting all the plants, and inside the ride is going to be the start of the commissioning process for our team teams. So Lagatronics and Mac will begin the handover to our engineering and our park operations team, and they'll start writing procedures and testing the ride and ensuring that the ride is operated as efficiently and as safely as possible. So thank you for watching, and yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. We'll show you what we can of that without giving away too many of the surprises. Start this one. Welcome back to another Ghostly Manor construction update. Now in this video we're going to be focusing on all the technology behind the ride. There's been loads of progress over the past few weeks. So the team at Lagatronics have been inside the ride, configuring all the different sensors, soundscapes, the phantom phasers to work within the ride system. And we're going to have an exclusive chat with one of the actual lead developers from Lagatronics on how you bring a ride like this to life. So starting with the pre-show areas, some really cool stuff going on in here. Our engineering team have been working hard on some really cool props, animatronics, moving drawers, that kind of stuff, and some ghost containment units and things going in here too. So starting to look really, really cool and really coming to life. So another nice little addition is the blueprints for Dr. Kinley's phantom phasers that I guess we'll use on the ride to capture the ghost. So a nice little addition here in between some of the more animatronic theming. So something else new in here is the addition of these entrance gates. Now these are spring loaded, and this is what guests will use to get on the ride, and people queue up to it as well. To make the operation nice and quick, we've added numbers to the flooring, so once the carpet goes down they'll be within the carpet, and that will hopefully help people understand where to go when they board Ghostly Manor. Some really cool updates inside Ghostly Manor and on the ride vehicles, including the phantom phasers. Now these have been installed on the ride vehicle with their mounts as well. As you can see, they light up. When you fire them you get a great sound, and the gun also vibrates as well. As you can hear, lots of testing going on in here too. Lagatronics are busy configuring all the ride system, making sure the phantom phasers and all the sensors and projectors all work together, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that with Manu. So we're here with Manu, who's the lead software developer for Lagatronics projects, and he's been working on Ghostly Manor and all the game design. So thanks for joining us, Manu. So tell us a little bit about how you start with a game system like this. It must be quite a big task.
Well, of course, it consists of different components, of course. So you have the software, but you also have the hardware, and they need to cooperate together eventually. So my responsibility is mostly the software. So I can tell you a lot about the software. And the hardware, I can also tell you something about it and explain how it works, but it's not my expertise, so I'll try to do my best. But you begin, I mean, you know already, with the designing party, we already had this concept, and we picked it up with them, and before we informed you, we made some game design docs about the games, and after that we worked it out with them. They checked it, and
the game design docs, they're sort of like showing you how the game's going to work.
Yeah, exactly. It's about the gameplay, the looks, the feels, and also the graphics that we're going to use.
And that's something that we sign off on with you.
Exactly. But before we involve you in this, we checked it with Lag. And after that, we did an agile process with you guys, which worked really well. I would say. So in a few months' time, we work towards the end product that we're implementing right now. So hopefully it's not a surprise. So you know exactly what you're going to get. But that's the way we approach it this time. So an agile approach, and moving from the game design doc to the actual finished product that we have right now. And now everything is in, the audio is in, the graphics are in, and we are ready to show it on screen here.
So that's what you're working on at the moment, calibrating everything, making everything work together, because you say there's all the hardware, speakers, lighting, animatronics. There's so much going on in here that all has to work cohesively together. So there must be a big bit of software, or we've seen all the server react in a previous video. So we know how much kit's upstairs in the media room. So it's interesting to know how all that works together.
Yeah, and that's also the magic and the fun part of being here.
Yeah.
Seeing everything come together from hardware to actually the game experience that we want to let the user experience.
So obviously in Ghostly Manor there's physical sets and media as well to fire at and ghost to capture. So you mentioned this trig system. Can you just talk about how that works a little bit?
The way it works, it's like maybe a GPS system.
Okay.
So it works on time code. So we have this fixes, we call it. There are little boxes hanging around in the room, and they communicate with the shooters. So they register the timing between them, and according to the timing, we can let an algorithm loose on it, and they will calculate the exact position in the room.
Wow.
So it's kind of cutting edge, but it's very accurate also if it's configured correctly, and we're doing that right now. But eventually you don't need an actual physical wire like this to make it work. We do have it because it's more convenient for charging and stuff like that, but you could run around in the room and it will detect everywhere you're walking.
I saw in a few weeks ago, some of your team were in here scanning all the scenes. Is that what then builds a picture for the?
So that's really important for the little boxes to be calibrated correctly.
Okay.
So we need to know exactly on the millimeter, even further than the millimeter where it is, so we can calculate the timing between the movers. So and if that's all working together, then we know exactly the position of the movers.
Right.
So if all the boxes are calibrated correctly and we know the exact position they are, so that's why they were scanning it. Then we can determine the locations very accurate.
There's a lot that goes into it, and there must be a lot of technology inside the Phantom phasers themselves to communicate with the ride, and obviously all the lighting and sound effects as well. Yeah,
obviously it's kind of the same technology as we have in the phones. They have an accelerometer, they have a compass, they know where they are. But mostly the technique of the GPS, I call it GPS system, but it's like the time codes that we send over and over. That's mostly the positioning, and the accelerometer will determine the rotation, obviously. So those things are all working together with the input buttons, the output of the lights, and they're all communicated through the air, but also through the onboard computers. They'll then send it to the servers and communicate it to the game interfacing and other stuff that we connect.
And eventually it's all got to come back and be displayed on this onboard screen here to show people what score they get in.
Yeah, exactly. So there's lots of communication between all the systems going on all the time. So that makes it both complicated, but also the fun part for me to see it come together.
It's all going to work fine then.
Yeah, exactly. We pray. No, we're going to make it happen.
Lots of testing to go, and you're obviously busy in here configuring things like music and sound. And we had a good walk around yesterday where Manu showed us all the scenes inside the ride, and we had some feedback that we gave him, and now that's what the team are working on to put right. And lots of big long lists of things to go through, I imagine, but we've got a bit of time to get there.
We're still on schedule, so it's all right so far. But indeed, there are also colleagues coming in for all the different disciplines that we have, both hardware and software. So in the oncoming week, we hope to make major steps in letting it work all together, and especially combined with the rotating platform and all the back-end services that need to be connected.
Well, thanks for joining us, really interesting. Right. I'm sure the viewers really enjoyed hearing all of that. We love hearing about technology behind the ride because it's so advanced, something completely different at Paultons that we're really excited to show you all. Of course, another important part of the ride system is the CCTV. So this has all been put together now and all the CCTV cameras mounted. So really important that the operators can see the ride while it's operating so they can double check everyone's safe and secure inside the ride. So this is the exit panel for the exit operator. It's a two-person operation, this ride, so minimum of 2 operators. We have one at the entrance and one at the exit, and they both have to be happy the ride is ready to go and press the green button for the ride to start. Thanks for watching this episode. It's really interesting to hear from Manu and all the team here about how complex this ride is and the technology that goes on, all the work that goes on behind the scenes to bring a ride like this to life. Months and months, years in advance, we've been working on this ride, so it's really exciting to see it get to this stage now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video where we're going to be having a look at the external theming and how that's all coming together outside of Ghostly Manor. So see you in the next one.
Wraith, the Ice Ghost. I'd scoured endlessly for the location of his ice temple and the ancient relic that held his spirit. We battled within that frozen tomb, his spectral energy versus my phantom phaser. I prevailed. Now he's another spectre in my collection, bound for my unique exhibit. Hello, can anyone hear me? At last! Ghosts have escaped from my spectral containment units. Now it's up to you to recapture them. Are you ready to face this challenge? Good luck. I'm counting on you.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Ghostly Manor construction update. In this video we're going to have a deep dive on the external theming. All the finishing touches are going to be taking place out here now in the next few weeks. The fountain has been turned on, as you can see, so the water's coming out the gargoyle's mouth here. It looks great. Sign has just been turned on. We've got all the lights on the walls, and yeah, all the planting is being done. So come with me and we're going to have a little walk around. So we really love this fountain. It's a fantastic centerpiece for the entrance area. It really draws people in as they walk past. Water's a fantastic feature to have in any themed area. And we've added these sort of green spots here. This is where it looks like the algae's built up over hundreds of years. So it feels like this has always been here and always been part of Paultons, which is really what we wanted to go for. So it's not brand new, and wanted to add that historical feel to it, which we think we've really achieved with this and with the rest of the area as well. So if you visited the park in the last few weeks, you'll have seen that we've finished the tarmacking out the front and taken all the fencing away. So now when the park's open, even though Ghostly Manor isn't open, guests can get really up close to all the theming and the walls, and I've seen lots of people peering in over the walls and looking at the attraction, which is great to see. As I mentioned, the fountain's on, and we've got these new lights which we talked about last time, which we've replaced. These look a lot better, a lot bigger, more ornate, and they match the scale of the area, which is really what we were going for. So moving through into the garden area, a lot of the planting around here has been completed. Obviously we saw last time that the plants have been put in their pots on top of where they're supposed to go, so they've all been planted in now and we're waiting for those to mature. We like to plant them nice and early so they have a chance to bed in and start to flower, so that when the attraction opens it looks like they've always been there. As I mentioned, the gardens have really started to take shape out here with all the planting. We've got these statues over here as well, which we've put in. And you'll also notice this mirror behind me, and there's another one just over there as well. Now these aren't just mirrors, they're also screens. So they actually have content playing on here. So we've got some ghosty things happening on the mirror as well. So as people walk past, they can look at that as they're waiting for Ghostly Manor. The whole area is so immersive and so well themed. We're really, really happy with it. And the experience starts as you enter the gates of Ghostly Manor, not just as you walk through the front door as well. This large bandstand has had its roof put on, and we've had this sculpture made in the middle. Now our engineering team have made this. It looks fantastic. A really, really fun piece of theming, and we've got some more planting to add around it as well. So yeah, another piece of theming that is pretty much complete now. So here's another one of our theme mirrors with the screen in, and we've also got one of our lighting fixtures here that we've put in. These are looking fantastic, and I cannot wait to see this area in Halloween, Christmas, when it gets a bit darker during the day. I think all these lights are really going to come to life and add that spooky vibe that we're really going for. As you can see behind me, we've added some theming to the top of the well, looking really, really cool, and finished off the paintwork around the bottom. All the planting pretty much gone in, just waiting for this to grow up now so it really matures. Unfortunately, as I said, doesn't move up and down, but still looks great. So as you approach the manor through the queue line, you'll get to the beautiful pergola that we've put in. Now this has all been themed up, had wisteria added as well, so when this all starts flowering and starts going through, it's going to look really, really cool. So yeah, really excited about this as well. And behind me you can obviously see Ghostly Manor in all its glory. Nearly there, just some fencing to add, a bit more planting to do as we move through this area, and yeah, should be ready for the guests to open on the 17th of May. So this staff door has been themed as well. Obviously it's part of the main facade, so we wanted to bring it into the area, so it's just been given a colour so it blends in a bit better. This is a staff door to some office buildings. And over here we've got the two pillars. Now these were obviously white, but we've added some paint to them. We've had to add quite a lot of coat to them to try and stop water seeping out through the pillars. So that's done now, and the theming artists just need to come back and blend these into the area. So again, they're going to be a really cool focal point of the exit area as well. So on this wall here you can see we've got a mount for the screen. This screen will show scores. So obviously as you're on Ghostly Manor, you'll build up a score as you're playing the game and capturing ghosts, and this will show your score as you exit the ride. It will also show high scores throughout the day as well, so something to keep an eye on when you leave the ride. Now this matches the theme of the gates out the front, and this is just for staff access through into the garden, but didn't just want to put a little gate in here, wanted to make sure that it was all part of the area, so that's why it's got this this theming at the top here and the spikes, and it does actually work. And finally, the last thing we have to show you is this stunning bit of theming that we've got up here, and also the two lights which are now all powered on, and this is the entrance to Ghostly Manor. Still got some work to do on the doors here, but they will be themed in of course as well, and this looks brilliant. As you walk through from the queue line, you see this, you go into the manor, start your experience in the pre-show areas. Really, really excited about this. That's all we've got to show you in this video. I hope you agree. Ghostly Manor is looking fantastic, but there's still a fair bit to do. We've still got to theme these doors in at the back here for the entrance to Ghostly Manor. Our landscaping and garden team have got some work to do on the planting to make sure that's all looking fantastic, even though I think it already does look really, really cool. But they want to add their finishing touches as well. And some final bits on the theming, like the pillars and all the things we discussed in the video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, because in the next video, we may even show you some on-ride footage from Ghostly Manor. Hi everyone, and welcome back to what is the final Ghostly Manor construction update. I cannot believe it's been a year since we started this project, and really excited to show you the finished product, as Ghostly Manor is finally finished and will open tomorrow, Saturday the 17th of May. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video, because we're going to show you a sneak peek of some of the on-ride footage as well. When we started this project, all we had was an empty garden space and an empty building. But after months of hard work and construction and theming and ride testing, we finally got to the finished product. I'm really excited to show you what it looks like. So come on, let's have a look. So here we are inside the finished Ghostly Manor queue line, and I think you'll agree it looks amazing. All the flowers have started to bed in and really come out. All the turf's been laid, so that looks really, really finished now. And also we've got our spooky swing back here, which is swinging all by itself, which is pretty creepy. And behind me, you can see one of our spooky mirrors come to life over here with a ghost sweeping inside the mirror. Again, just something else for the guests to look at and enjoy as they're queuing up for this really immersive experience. From the arrival of the first Phantom phaser to the ride testing itself, it's definitely been one of the most complex projects that we've taken on, but we're really excited to show you the finished product. Now, we don't want to show you too much of what's inside Ghostly Manor to keep that a secret. However, we do want to show you this short montage which shows how far we've come in the past year bringing Ghostly Manor to life. Of course, we couldn't end the series without giving you a sneak peek of some on-ride footage from Ghostly Manor. So join us for a ride on Ghostly Manor itself. So there you go, your first look at some on-ride footage from Ghostly Manor. Now, we haven't been able to show you everything there is to offer inside Ghostly Manor because obviously we want you to come down and try it for yourself. So make sure you make a visit this year if you can. It's been such an exciting project for us here at Paultons, and we'd like to thank everyone that's helped bring Ghostly Manor to life over this past year. And of course you for watching along at home. Now, if you've enjoyed these videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop us a like and a comment if you're going to visit tomorrow on opening day, May the 17th. So you may be wondering, do I say so a lot? Is this a good place or something like that? I'm not going to say that. So you're going to feel quite, I've forgotten the word, audially and visually as well. Is audially a word? Is there anything else that I've missed in it? Look after while also being, so it's actually, cool. So yeah, subscribe, don't forget to, wait here, what else do I need to say? And the last bit is so each external steam. Oh God, what did I say? Back in when we were opening February. Why did I say open in February? Oh God, I'm in maintenance mode. That was off the cuff. I didn't even write that. Back in here, no problem. We will not vanish into the floor. We'll try our best. I won't fall down. I've taken my ladder safety course. Of course, we love a nicely cable managed server rack. It's just a rack. I mean, it's not that exciting, but it's like a nature documentary. I like Attenborough. I don't know what that is. It's the guy from Ice Age. So, can you hear it quite clearly? So when the ride opens in May. We're reaching the end of the no. It's hard. Goodness me, I was like mid-burp. Oh yeah, I actually missed that. Wow, that's lovely, that is. If I can remember what I'm saying. Cool. You mentioned that Trig 3 system. Can you just talk a bit about that?
Well, it's not actually Trig 3, it's Trig 4.
Trig 4
so it's even better.
Even better.
Can we do it again? Yeah, that one and on the right side. Yeah.
No.
Let me double check.
Broke it here, and you also ski. Oh, ski. Oh, so close. Right. Okay, this is the one. Oh, that's so bad. So bad. So that's sort of it for the outside. No. Okay. Ghostly Manor looks stunning. Yeah. Don't mind me. Just having my close up. So we've got signage, tarmacking. Yeah. Right, go on, get a shot.
Oh, I'm in shock.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll ad lib. So if you visit, oh God. Right, let's try again. Guests can really get up to. Don't worry, the guys. Don't worry, come through. Cool. Look at that. Bam. So when the oh sorry, go again. Come on. We've added some feet. God, try again. Gardens. I've done lots of garden stuff. We'll come off the ride and head down, and also the accessible entrance. Right, try again. Final landscaping things to. Oh no, okay, try again. Well, so they really look like that. Oh God, we've still got to do. No, okay, right, okay. What am I saying? Right, okay. Why am I struggling with this one so much? No, okay, right, okay. This is the one. My voice broke at the end. Oh well, whatever. You want to come in here as well, do you? Sorry, you're going to have to wait. Come on then.